Hello everyone, welcome to the Clarity 16.3.1 feature supportability training. My name is Bill Yee. And today we're going to cover the new enhancements for the report designer for Clarity 16.3.1. So what's new with the report designer this release? We made a lot of enhancements in the widgets area. We've enhanced the searching when configuring dimension and metric fields. So when we search, we highlight the text that is actually matching, and we also supply the object where that attribute resides in an expanded state so you can actually quickly select the attribute when configuring dimension or metric fields. We also improved the TSV support for bar and column widgets, added an attribute-based container widget. And what that does is that the attributes you configure in this container widget, it controls and groups and filters the other widgets within that tab. We've also added an auto-fit total row for the table widget and also per period metric support for all the widgets in the designer. We've also added report language translation support for strings for all widgets. In the tab and filter area, we added drag and drop tab reordering and also report and widget level filtering. And last but not least, we've enhanced the layouts. You can choose kind of response or fixed layouts to give the report designer more control when configuring reports in Clarity. So why is it important for these enhancements related to the report designer? So as we migrate away from Jaspersoft, we want to allow our customers to provide an easy tool for them to recreate their reports without requiring SQL or programming knowledge to configure reports. And since our report designer is being developed using kind of some of the same common components you use within Clarity today, we feel customers will be able to easily pick up, leverage their existing security, TSV Studio, and common components they're familiar with within Clarity to get up and going and recreate their reports in our new report designer tool. So the report designer for 16.3.1 is beta. And so there's still work to be done with the report designer, but we are interested in hearing your feedback. So please test it out. Let us know good and bad in terms of your feedback. So since we like to make sure it addresses all your needs in terms of migrating your reports from Jaspersoft to our new Clarity Report Designer. So let me give you a demonstration of our new report designer enhancements so you can see them in action. Hello, I'm going to give a demonstration of our new report designer capabilities for 16.3.1. Now to access the report designer, click on the reporting menu item in the left-hand nav and then click on the report designer tile. And let's go ahead and collapse this. Now, one thing I want to call out as part of the report designer grid is this data provider column. It lists all the data providers that's being used for that report. So if you make any changes to the data provider, you'll know and you can do a filter on the data provider field and see what reports are impacted by that data provider change. So let's create a new report. Call this PMO Financials. Description here, we're going to be showing the enhancements to our chart widgets. We've also added to the create modal for reports. You can choose the layout and format. We added a new option called responsive. We have three options. You can choose from responsive area or fixed that we had previously. You can choose different sizes and different orientations. Let's go ahead and click create, choose some data providers. And then it'll put you into the canvas for the report designer. Let's go ahead and rename this tab, call it Financials. Now, the first area I'm going to cover in terms of enhancements are the new enhancements to the bar and column widgets. So let's do a bar widget. The same enhancements apply to the
column widget as well. Let's make, data provider projects. We call this one monthly costs. And then what we've added is this new periods toggle. When the periods toggles off, like it is right now, when you're adding metrics here, it's only showing non-TSV attributes inside, say, the metrics here. And you can pick your dimension as need be. When the period toggle is toggled on, like it is right now, we pre-populate the dimensions to periods. Since if you have this toggle on, you want to look over your data over time. So we pre-populate the period with kind of a smart tag. And then for the metrics, let's add some. We only show TSV attributes as part of the metric. So we choose plan cost here. Let's add one more metric, sum. We've also enhanced the searching and kind of selecting of attributes when configuring widgets. So right now, if we click add, search for a benefit. What it'll do is then, we show the object and its corresponding attributes, and we highlight the matching criteria in here, and we show it in an expanded state. So then we can go ahead and just quickly click the attribute and then add it to as part of our metrics. That's a nice usability enhancements when configuring widgets. We added per period metric settings to all of our widgets. So this is always available. Let's change this to 12. You can actually see this over a year. Under format, as mentioned before, we had the here stack, and we also show it as clustered as well. I'm going to keep it as stacked. Now you can choose a maximum of 26 bars. So if you try to go over it, you'll get some validation error. So I'm going to set this to 12. You can also group items into an other bucket. So say, for example, if what will happen is that it'll show up to, say, 12, up to 11, and group the 12th item into another bucket. Now, let's note the other bucket is included in the count of the maximum number of bars. We'll keep that as number. Now, you can also choose how the legend is shown. Now, you can be right, show top, also show bottom. We're going to keep this to the right for the time being. Set the X and Y axis. We'll choose this cost. And we'll call this one periods. So those are the changes we made to the bar and column. Let's go ahead and adjust this. I'm going to add a table in here to show the next item here. Let's choose a table. Let's make it really quickly in here. Chose this one investments, make this one investments as well. Duration is 12 as well here. And then let's resize this thing. And let's go ahead and add some items here. Name. Investment type. And then let's see, we want to see all the plan costs. We see plan cost, plan capital, and plan operating. So here is where you can go ahead and define all the data here. We can also set say, for example, a report filter in here. So say, for example, let's choose a report filter. Now this will apply to all, to all the widgets across all your tabs. And also too, you can have this filter shown to the end user as well by this particular toggle. Now let's filter here on investment type. Where it's ideas and projects. And click apply. We'll filter that down. So the new item that we've added here in terms of widgets is we call now you go under control here and we call it attribute container widget. So let's go ahead and move this up and then size this a little bit bigger so you can see it. So what this does is that based on the attribute you configure in this attribute container widget, it will then filter the contents of, group and filter on the other widgets within the tab. So the attribute container widget is scoped per tab. So you can have multiple different attribute container widgets, um, you know, across different tabs as well. So in here, we need to first set the data provider. Now you can choose it as well as summary. The main one is here is when you choose it for attribute base. And this one we're going to choose is data provider. Now it gives you some confirmation because if you change this, it'll let you know it will delete all other attribute containers on the report. So with that, once we have that one in here, we can go ahead and configure this one. So let's add some attributes to this container. Size this up real quick. Let's add let's say name. Now note, this is investment, the name from investment. So we choose this one and resize that. And then let's add manager. So let's go ahead and resize that one as well. So you can go ahead and see, here's the attribute container in here. Now, there's also some level configuration at each of the different attributes. You can choose here where to show it a top left in terms of the labels here. You can choose it to the left as well, or you can choose it, we'll choose this one also to the top and left as well. So we'll keep this left and close this off. Now, what this does in here, as you click through these items here, as you can see, it will change, when these values change, it will filter down the other widgets within, on the same tab. So it's essentially what it's doing, as you would if you tried to do this, via SQL or down to kind of programming aspect. It's actually joining and associating all these different widgets based on this attribute widget, so that you can kind of go work through in here. So you can, as you paginate through each of these items, it's filtering, grouping these contents. Let's say that the DPM loan app release is filtering the data based on these items within both of these different widgets. Now, how do you know that these widgets are being controlled by this attribute level widget? And the easiest way to figure that out is actually going through the data provider. So if you go in and we went in, I think one of the items we showed was name. And if you look at this one, this one was made from the investment data provider, so investment name. So there's an association there. So it'll be filtered by the attribute widget. This one here was built on the project data provider. So there's association with it. So that's how you can handle it, because this is what this name is based on the investment name. This is now these are being controlled here. So if that's the case, I don't have an idea one. Let's add quickly create a widget based on idea. So let's go ahead and resize this one real quick here. Let's add a widget. This is a quick count one here. Make this one idea. Let's call it ideas just in here. Right now, this is just be here account as part of it. So with that one, let's go ahead and refresh the screen here. With that, if we go ahead and paginate, even the one with the ID account is also getting changing based on what you have in here, because this one's not changing now because this is only being controlled by ideas. So once we get to another idea, for example, it's then actually showing. So gives you a lot of power in terms of what you want to do, and you can have one particular container controlling multiple widgets within the same tab. Now, there could be situations where you don't want it changing based on the attribute widget. So let's do another example in here. Let's add one more count. Let's go into the data provider, for example. And let's add a new data provider. Let's add timesheets. And let's go ahead, add another widget. Let's do a quick count one in here. And let's choose the timesheet. Just call it timesheets for now. And here we just do a count. So it counts the number of timesheets within a particular report. Size this in real quick here. Let's choke this out. Sticky here. There we go. Had some issues with it assigning. So what you can do now, if you go back to the data provider and click name, with the timesheet, we don't have the investment name, so it's no association with the name aspect. And also too, this in terms of investment manager name, it's not part of the timesheet. So if I then go ahead and refresh the screen here, as I paginate through, the other widgets are going, are changing based on the attribute widget, but the timesheet one isn't. So that's why you can actually have some control. Either you want to have certain widgets being controlled by the attribute container, or other ones you may not want to have as part of it. So those are some of the example of how you can use the attribute widget and kind of the level of control you can do based on as you paginate through. We also added some additional controls on the amount of data, particularly with the table widget. So if we go back here, I created a report with not only the an attribute container here with investment ID and manager, but also I have two table widgets. So we made some examples here. Let me go into edit mode. And then here, if I choose configure, look at the format. We chose, we made some enhancements too, where you provided wrap text and show total row as part of it. You can configure that, same as you did with end user clarity, but we have an area called auto fit. Now, when it's toggled off in here, what it will do, it will show the data based on preview, based on the size that you've configured inside your report. So if I publish this and go to reporting, and we have a new tile here, from the end user perspective, let's go ahead and view it. As we paginate through, the data will be limited to the scope of the size of these particular widgets. So even though I have 55 records in here, we're only going to show here is like the top 5, because that's where we have the auto fit, and that's what it will do when we show it on the end user side. Now, if we go back in here, into side here, and let's go back inside into edit mode. And then we choose inside here, the format, we choose auto fit. So what it will do then, if it's, it will expand the widget based on the amount of data coming back for that particular record. You can go ahead and repeat the column headers as need be. And as this information note says, it will auto fit based on what's what's available inside. It's only available on the report viewer side, not on the designer side. So if we go ahead and close this out and publish this, the behavior on the end user side would be different. So we go inside, and then now we paginate through. You see it expands out across based on the amount of data inside the that we come by for this particular record. And it will ask you go to a new page if need be to display all the records in that particular table. So then if we keep paginating through, certain ones in here, this is just limited in here. But if it's more data like this one, it will span across different pages as part of it. So it gives you the designer level control. If you want to show a fixed set of data based on the size of the widget, or if there's more data it will expand the widget, particularly the table widget, to show all the remaining data even across pages. So with that, that's a demonstration of our new reporting enhancements for 16.3.1.
This concludes our presentation and demonstration of our report designer enhancements. Thank you.